Welcome back to the Barrel Talk Podcast. This is episode 155. The NFL regular season is officially over, coming at you with playoff predictions and breakdowns, and also talking about this last week of the NFL season. Joined with Connor Carsons, Will Snowball, Nick Gwynn on the call. How we doing?
Shit.
It's
Chilling.
playoff time.
Call me a part-timer. They call me a lazy part-timer.
Yeah.
And guess who's back? Her views were down.
It's crazy. It's crazy because like when the Bears, didn't win a game until last week.
The last time I was on here, we might have been 4-2.
Dude's computer's gonna turn off in 10 minutes. What the hell?
As soon as we get to talking about the Bears,
my computer blew up last time I was on this.
But we have a week to break down before we get into our playoff predictions and breakdown of each individual game going into Wild Card Weekend. But there are some stories that we can talk about this past week. We can kind of dabble in on some little things before we get into the big one. It's really death taxes and Mike Evans getting that 1,000 yards.
Hell yeah.
Every season.
With all the stuff that we did see about the incentives this weekend, like how you saw Cooper Rush be the starting quarterback for however long, and then he gets benched when he's about to get his snap percentage to get 250,000, I believe it was. And then Dallas being, we're not going to pay you that incentive. Fuck you, basically.
That's crazy.
And then I'm just glad to see there are good organizations out there like that want to see players get paid, want to take care of their players, because they could have easily looked at this game, even though the Bucs had to win it, and looked at this game and been like, oh, just don't throw Mike Evans the ball. Like, we've seen situations and stories in the past of like receivers needing a certain amount of yards or receptions and them just being out of the offense no matter how good they were, just because the team didn't want to pay them. But they take care of their guys over there in Tampa. Glad to see it for him, especially because, he's the case of him being a Hall of Famer, I feel like should be no question, but I feel like it's always a discussion between some people.
No, he's first ballot at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the only argument people could have had against him was him not having a ring, and he has one of those.
Yeah.
So, like, he's an all-pro. He's 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Like, he's going to finish with an insane amount of, like, receiving yards. So, he's I'm assuming he's going to do it next year to break the record. So, yeah, just get him. Might as well get fitted now.
Yeah, because for just what he's done for just Tampa, just football in general, like he's a weird one that should get like some special treatment once he's done, for sure. For what he's done for Tampa, he's their best player in their franchise history, even though like Tom Brady was there. But just when you think of Tampa, you think of Mike Evans now.
100%.
Right.
But I'm just glad to see somebody of his caliber getting taken care of in a big incentive weekend. Some people hitting. I know Sutton hit his. Mike Evans got his. Derrick Henry got his on Saturday for the touchdown. There's a lot of incentives that went out.
I think Tony Pollard got his.
He didn't.
He didn't?
No.
Did JK get his?
Geno got his.
Geno got his. I don't think Pollard got his.
Mm.
Pollard needed 2 touchdowns. I don't think Ertz got his either. He needed like 2
touchdowns,
like 8%.
But he did get a big one last week, though.
Mm-hmm.
Did Ertz.
Calvin Ridley got his.
And Mike Evans, lucky Marshall and Lattimore wasn't still on the Saints.
That's so
last
true.
play,
Oh my God.
UA is not catching this pass.
That's so true.
They'll personally stand in the way of $3 million.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think
Cowboys want a mill of that.
Because I think that had a ton to do with like kind of how that game went. I feel like there was just a lot of just like outside pressure on Baker, like to start that game, to where like he had to feel like he had to be the guy to get those yards for Mike Evans. And like I just feel like there was a lot of pressure, obviously because they had to win, but also outside pressure that came with other than them having to win that game that kind of led to that game being a little bit closer than it might have been. And he came out in the press conference and said that they almost didn't get it because somebody ran in a touchdown. I think it was Bucky Irving ran in a touchdown, then they were able to get the ball back. So just good to see something like that happen.
Hell yeah.
And then other news, kind of not even news, but kind of something that we talked about is like a what if Michael Penix started the entire season with the Falcons instead of being in this back half for his rookie year. I just want to hear y'all takes on it because I have my own.
I
don't think they were any different. I'm
I
gonna
don't
be
think
real.
they're any different either.
I think they'd be in the same spot if they had Penix.
Yeah, that's where
you
I'm
are.
at. I think
Okay.
that him sitting behind Kirk actually probably helped him come in and look as good and polished as he did.
Mhm.
I don't doubt that he had those skills or anything. Like obviously he's showing that he has those skills, but I don't think if you would have started him day one, I don't know if he's showing him off like he was when he first came into that game. I mean, he looked pretty poised in the pocket. He was making some big time throws, especially in that first game he came in for. But I don't know if he's doing that day one coming out of the draft. Just throw him in there. Especially with how complicated that offense kind of is. I mean, you saw even someone like Kirk struggle to run it to start the year.
Mhm.
So you expect a rookie to come in and be able to hand that to him, I guess, in a sense, when I don't know what Washington was running was with him. I thought it was a lot of spread, but I don't think they're any different. I think he gets some wins, but I don't think it's anything crazy.
Mhm.
He's a lot more comparable to Kirk than I thought because they're both pocket passers. Like Michael Penix isn't getting out of the pocket making crazy plays. Like he's more of a just pure pocket passer. But the problem with Kirk is like you can kind of compare it to Darnold as well in the Minnesota. Like the difference is just that little extra bit of athleticism to get out of the pocket that Penix and Darnold have over Kirk in those past two situations proved to be like very valuable. But I do agree. I don't think they end up the same. I don't think they have the same bad like middle of the season skid that they did, but I think they're still in the same predicament. Like if Penix starts, I don't think they sweep Tampa this year.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Those are big games.
Those were both shootouts at the start of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think they beat Philly because Kirk led that game-winning drive against Philly at the start of the year as well. I don't think they get that one. So they're probably in the same spot, maybe a game or two less than what they are now,
Mhm.
in my opinion. But like Will said, I think he came in super polished. Now the future, I think, is super high for this Falcons
His ceiling
team.
is very high.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they have obviously all the weapons.
You know, for the 3 years that he'll be in his prime, because he's like 26 years old.
I mean, all you really need in the NFL is something to break your way and to get hot with how the playoffs have been the past couple of years. So, like, they have the weapons. I mean, he's going to fully unlock Drake London, in my opinion,
I think
next
Drake
year.
London's been fully unlocked.
You think so?
I think so. I think Drake London has the possibility of being like a top 5 receiver in the league. Like if he really can get it going. I
He
think
looked good this year. I'm excited for it.
I would say arguably he's better than Garrett Wilson.
I think he is.
I think he's in that realm. I think he's in that realm of receivers.
He's
but
in
I,
that realm.
Yeah, he is.
but I think he is
He's in
better
the
than
realm,
Garrett
yeah.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Because he's just a bigger body.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
he
bigger. I think he's got better hands. I mean,
He can make really good catches.
Garrett
like
Wilson
those
might be a better
contested
route
catches.
runner.
hmm But he's definitely in that class of
Mhm.
receivers for sure. And then like Darnell Mooney, I think is a great two for
He
what
got
they
1,000
have,
yards.
and they
Really?
have
Mm-hmm.
because he was eating with Kirk at the start of the year.
He was. I do
Mhm.
remember that.
And then like you have a dual threat running game with Algier and Bijan, and Algier could be a starter for like half the teams in the NFL right now. So they have a lot going for them. They just need to get that defense together because that defense is abysmal.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts. Oh, you're still there, I promise. Dude, please. Fuck.
He
He's
did
a
all right
person.
this season.
I know.
Okay. We were expecting the breakout because and it's gonna be the same come fantasy season again. We're drafting. It's gonna be Kyle Pitts like in the middle tier of tight ends, and we're like,
Yo.
now I'm gonna hear all about how he's a must-buy-in candidate, new quarterback. They have somebody that can throw the ball now. He's gonna be an elite tight end this year.
He will go off.
Nuke emoji. He will
Mhm.
go off.
He goes off tonight.
But I don't know. Just Falcons got some interesting things going for them in the future. But next we can talk about Aaron Rodgers. Did we just see Aaron Rodgers' last game in the NFL?
No.
I think no.
No.
I hope so, but no.
I hope so.
I
too,
tend to
but-
think he's going to come back for one more year,
Yeah.
or try to at least.
If I'm the Jets, because here's what's going to happen. Aaron Rodgers is going to go on this hiatus and not be seen for like 4 months. And then like the draft is going to roll around and the Jets are going to be like, anybody heard from Rodgers?
Ah, he
And
said
so,
he said he's not doing it this year.
Yeah, he said he's going to be pretty
He
quick
did
about
say
it
that.
this
He
year.
did say that.
So
But who do I believe
if
him?
he ghosts them, they have to try to move into a different direction. But with how kind of lackluster this quarterback draft is, and with how many teams that do need a quarterback, that are kind of like in good positions as well. Like, there's teams that are going to be calling for Aaron Rodgers, I feel like, still. And I feel like him and Devontae Adams have become a package of sorts now. To where if you
This
get
is final year on his
Rodgers,
contract.
I
No.
want to say
I
there's
thought he had
one more.
right? Okay.
But he could just up and retire as well. So, like,
Which
Yeah.
that makes more sense than him just
mm-hmm.
like I don't know. It's like signing a new deal is going to be rough. Like
I
there's
think
no
he
way.
stays. I think he stays with the Jets. If they bring in the right coach, I guess not the right coach, but like if they bring in a coach that Rodgers does mess with even a little bit, I think he does come back and give him and Devontae Adams like a full year with this team. Because I feel like it would kind of be weird to like you trade for Adams middle of the year when you're already 2 legs behind the ball, and then they just
Right.
up and retire, and then kind of leave Devontae Adams there on a big contract, like stranded basically. And that's his guy. I don't think he would do his guy like that. I think he's going to come back and play for the Jets next year. And they're going to kind of have a whole new kind of regime coaching wise. But I think the GM has understood that like you can't just have Aaron Rodgers bring in all of his people and then think shit go work out like that.
Right.
So they
I
need
fucking hope so.
they need a coach that's going to be able to win back that locker room, because that locker room was beyond gone when Saleh got fired.
Oh yeah.
And you saw that defense take a massive hit when he did leave that building.
After that, it was just mercenaries.
Yeah. And then towards the end of the year, there was a lot of talk about people just being really just bought out at that point.
Yeah.
I know DJ Reed said that he's not coming back, basically, once he hit free agency.
Really?
Yeah.
Garrett
Dang.
Wilson might not even go back.
There was a lot of talks about him possibly being traded as well.
Panthers need it.
That'd be fire.
Someone said, "Tell T. Higgins to come to the Jets." Sauce Gardner said, "I will not be telling him that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sauce
I
was
will
also
not
like,
tell him that."
he was also like, oh, if I left and they turned it around, I'd be sick. I'd be their biggest hater.
He's sick.
Oh my god, what else? They something also happened, just like random stuff. Because they were talking about the Rams and Chargers. It's weird if they both made the championship game,
Oh,
Or
that's what
whatever.
Adam said.
and they're like the Giants and Jets been sharing the same stadium for so long, and it's never happened.
Man,
So I don't know. The Jets, I do expect Rodgers to be back next year. Other than that, a lot of the games kind of didn't really matter. The Broncos ended up wiping KC, so that took all the drama out of that whole playoff race.
38-0.
And then the Dolphins
Wasn't
ended up
close.
just losing outright. I guess we can talk about Tyreek Hill winning out as well.
Which makes no sense.
He was the same
Um,
person that's saying that Tua was a better, more accurate thrower. of
He was
football
also the
than
same person
Patrick
I mean,
Mahomes.
we all knew what that
Yeah,
complaining
was.
about the
no,
money.
we knew.
Like how can you complain about money, then leave, and then complain when you're not winning games? Because you
That's
left
what
you left the back-to-back champions.
That's what Orlovsky said, and they
Yeah.
already won without you, so they've proven they can win without you too.
Yes, that's why like it doesn't make any sense. He going to the Cowboys anyway.
He's sometimes I hate like just how the media describes certain situations like this, but I do think there is a case for people to say, no, you chose there to sign a contract there. You left a winning culture, a winning situation that wasn't going anywhere. It's not like the Chiefs were aging out and you kind of just hopped off the boat before it sank. Like, still in their prime, doing it well after you as well to three-peat. So stay your ass there. This is what you chose. And when I'm thinking about the not winning thing, you made the playoffs last year. You lost a big-time game against Buffalo to put you in a situation where you had to play KC in that freezing weather game last year to eliminate you. And then this year, Tua got hurt. If anything, have the problem with Tua being always hurt in your quarterback situation rather than the Dolphins franchise. Because that's what it all comes down to. If Tua's healthy, they're a good team. If he's not, then they're terrible because there's no other QB that can do that offense, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, even when they had to, they didn't look great.
No, they didn't look great anyways. And Tyreek Hill had
But they were winning.
very down
they were
year.
winning games. Yeah.
His stats were like 30% less than they were like across the board. Like, it was insane how bad they were this year.
Well, Tyler Huntley actually wasn't throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
Like he actively looked at Johnny Smith and was like, "Yep, it's me and you." Like,
We go get paid. You go get paid.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure you get paid.
like
I get it.
even Waddle, like just
Fuck Tyreek.
down.
For real.
Waddle was just so hurt. Like, I feel like Waddle was a game time decision like every game just because I had him in fantasy. But like it's kind of like what we talked about earlier in the year when they were struggling and when they were healthy. It's just like I just feel like teams have figured them out. Like, I feel like they just put 2 high safeties up, and
Right.
then like that offense just crumbles unless it's a Devon Achane breakout screen pass. Like they can't really run the ball effectively. And like yes, they have 2 of the fastest guys in the league, but when it comes to like winning in the middle of the field and running actual routes rather than just concept runs of just them getting out in space, like it's a whole different game. And I feel like teams just kind of really settled in on that and kind of sat on it these past 2 years, really. Because anytime they played any relative comp, like they kind of folded every single time. But that was the only other like bigger news. I guess the only thing we could definitely talk about is the Sunday night game and what happened and transpired there, because that was the only other like big time story that we haven't touched on.
Belt to ass.
Do y'all want to go or do you want me to go?
I'll go. Belt to ass.
Okay.
Y'all are not even on. This is what I was telling about. I ain't gonna bring it up. But when me and Corey got in that argument about the Lions being better, when I was telling you about the Lions being better, this is what I meant. This is exactly what I meant.
But okay.
Yeah. That's exactly what I meant.
I said that argument was about the Chiefs.
I'm not even gonna get into it. But the Lions just went in there and they just killed you guys. Like when I figured out that it was in Detroit, it was gonna be like, okay, the Lions are gonna win this game. Like I don't think there was a world actually where you guys probably won that game. It was done. It was over. It's like you guys didn't even come out to halftime. Like it was like, all right, we lost. So I don't know. Sam Darnold looked like shit. He
might be
so bad.
You guys might lose.
You know, that could be a problem in the playoffs. Considering you guys are playing in the first round one of the teams that beat you for your 2 losses.
It's crazy because when we play both these teams, it was back-to-back on a short week.
And it's an away game. Like, you won 14 games to go on to away and go play the Rams. So, I don't know. You guys just shot yourself in the foot. Like, very bad.
For sure.
Yeah.
I guess touching on, like, the away thing, like, I'd rather, if we're just talking about, like, home field advantage in general, I'd rather us play the Rams than Tampa, who I feel like the Rams and the Chargers collectively have home field, but they don't at the same time, because every single game it feels like it's a 50-50 split of who's there and who's not for the Rams and Chargers. So far, home field advantage, I'm glad we're not playing in Tampa, because Tampa actually has a home field advantage, if you know what I'm trying to say. Because that stadium is really just the NFL fan base. It's never really, I feel like, the home team's fan base. It's always usually a split. But I guess going into it, I want to talk about some of the positives that I at least took from that game, because it seemed like from offensively, from both sides, neither team wanted to win offensively, because the score ended up being 31-9, but the Lions were giving us the game as well throughout the entirety of the first half and most of the third quarter. Like, the Lions get a stop in the red zone, and Goff throws an arm punt, like, for no reason, that like 40 yards down the field. So both offenses were giving away the game, and both defenses for the first 3 quarters deserved a lot better. But from our defensive point of view, those first 3.5 until like the defense just basically tired out in the fourth quarter, like, that was probably the best defensive performance you could put on the Lions, those first 3 quarters. I mean, everybody was firing on all cylinders for us defensively. And then just got tired in the fourth quarter. Jahmyr Gibbs breaks off bigger runs in the fourth quarter. They ended up winning the game because of that. But like throughout the first 3 quarters, neither team offensively wanted to win the game. But the O-line was abysmal, which was a big reason why Sam Darnold was as bad as he is. He has a problem and a tendency of holding on the ball, which Aaron Glenn made a great game plan to get to the quarterback and make sure you take advantage of him holding onto the ball. But just because you have a team brings a great game plan to you, that doesn't mean you need to be shit as well. So I think Aaron Glenn coached his ass off, but that also doesn't go into the fact that Sam Darnold shouldn't even have had to play that bad in general. But when I'm looking at the O-line, 26 total pressures, 9 of them came from Cam Robinson, the left tackle replacement that we traded for Christian Darrisaw. So that's tough, and he's been pretty
Yeah.
solid. But the O-line was just a big problem with 26 pressures. I felt like every time Sam Darnold did drop back, he was on his fucking ass, and he would get up limping. So that also is not an excuse for him to be overthrowing every receiver. But in my opinion, the moment got to Sam Darnold at the start of the game, you could definitely tell that first drive. And when you get the Lions to punt the fucking ball, and you're getting the turnovers that you are getting, even the one in the end zone that you could say was grounding or safety or whatever, because he threw it strictly at the lineman and Gibbs was legit standing right next to him. So that didn't get called. And then you get a turnover by Ivan Pace, who stumbles, can't get in the end zone. You have Cam Akers break off a big-ass run. He stumbles at the fucking one, can't get in the end zone. Like, you have Van Ginkel almost have another pick six out of nowhere. He can't pick that up. That would have swung the game. Like, everything defensively, you played a great defensive game, but it seems like every time where like we could have punched the ball in the end zone, something went wrong.
Oh, your guys' red zone offense looked abysmal.
Yes, and
It
it's
looked terrible.
and it's crazy from a team that we're not a running football team. Our interior O-line is a
Not at all.
problem when it comes to running the football. But the craziest thing is about all this is throughout the entirety of the game, Aaron Jones was averaging 4.5 yards a carry and only ended up with 7 carries the whole game.
7 carries for Aaron Jones is
Well, 10 carries. 10.
okay. That makes more sense. I was like 7 carries is crazy.
Even
It's still
then,
bad.
even then, yeah. And
For-
with,
Like,
One and a half
I get, like being
carry.
down. Like you guys were only down 1 at halftime.
we should have
Why-
been down 1 at halftime.
Why is he only having 10 carries?
So with how the game started, I was very excited because I was like, oh my God, we went to Aaron Jones right off the rip. Like Aaron Jones picking up all this yardage off the rip. We marched down to the red zone but couldn't get it in multiple times. Like we had
Oh,
no
yeah.
problem getting there. But then it's just like out of all the red zone opportunities, we didn't give the ball to Aaron Jones, but one time on a pass that he got stopped at, and it was not the best ball because he had to go behind him to catch it, and then the defender was right there in front of him. But we didn't run the ball with Aaron Jones a single time. So he had an IV in, and he came out late after halftime. So I don't know how banged up he was or what was going on for that situation. So I didn't know how banged up he was, but when he was playing and on the field, he was doing good. And I feel like we could have
Well,
rode
like,
him a little bit more.
Even with that, like you went out and got Cam Akers again, like for a reason.
Right.
Like you can still just because your backup running back's in does not mean you can not run the ball.
Exactly.
Like so, I don't know. I don't
Cam
understand
Akers
the
had
whole
his
point of,
best
like,
run of
not-
the season, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
those Achilles were begging for dear life, and he couldn't get into the end zone, which
Couldn't
would have
do it.
changed the. Like we just had so many chances to get in that ball game, to where like you're like, if we would have just got a normal game from Sam Darnold, that would have been a fucking blowout.
Well, he missed Addison like
Multiple
3 times.
Yes.
That's like he was just. It's like everything that Sam Darnold could have done wrong, like he did.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like he looks this way, guy's wide open over here.
Right.
Like the check down's wide open. He's throwing to T.J. Hawkinson in triple coverage. Like I don't know. He overthrew every receiver.
Mhm. If we just
So-
got the normal Sam Darnold game, which we've been getting all year, basically, we would have blew the Lions out with how much we got to the red zone and how the Lions turned the ball over. Like, it wouldn't even have been a game. Like, we would have blew him out. But Sam Darnold, the moment got too big for him. And I want to say the pressure did get to him and what the Lions did defensively. And then, glad you brought up TJ Hawkinson, because against the blitz and the routes that they were running when they showed it during the broadcast, TJ Hawkinson is somebody that on delayed routes should eat against the blitz because he should be right there in front of the quarterback. He should be quick, easy throws, right? The shit that I saw Anzalone do to TJ Hawkinson, I'm like, TJ Hawkinson, you almost led the league in receptions last year with Joshua Dobbs. And you're coming off the injury, I get it, but you've been back with us for a minute now, over half the year. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, there's no reason why TJ Hawkinson should. Now, he did get overthrown on the one on the third down, but there's one on the sideline. TJ Hawkinson, you usually grab that. There's one in the middle of the field. He dropped twice. Anzalone was just getting so physical with him to where it just took TJ Hawkinson out, and then he starts worrying about the flags rather than just catching the ball. And that's what he got completely taken out of the game. And I was like, TJ Hawkinson, like, you've been a rock basically the past 2 years. I know we have Jefferson, but TJ Hawkinson's been that guy as well. And he just had his worst performance. Sam Darnold had his worst performance. Jordan Addison probably would have had a great performance if he got the ball.
Free
Jefferson, yeah.
Free 3.
Jefferson, they blamed him for not catching that ball deep in the end zone. I'm like,
I don't think he was going to be in bounds anyway.
yes, he's a superstar receiver, but like, The one where I'm like, man, he probably could have got that if it was the one where he did get overthrown because there was nobody on him.
He hit a stutter step.
Yeah.
And Sam Darnold threw it the perfect time, and it just
Yeah.
It's
there was just too much power on it. But for somebody that is obviously in Vikings lore and Vikings Twitter, the world was on fire these past 2 days. But in my opinion, I'm not going to be one to just call the season a wrap. Because this is a team that legit won 9 fucking straight games before this loss. And we basically have ran the rest of the league in terms of the line, unless it's the Lions and the Rams. And in that game with the Rams, when I was doing my research and breakdown for this game, we didn't have Blake Cashman. We didn't have Ivan Pace, our star left tackle, Christian Dershaw, one of the best in the league. He goes down at halftime with no replacement. That changed the entire game. So when you're looking at that game against the Rams, they had everything. They needed that game because they were 1-2 and 5. I want to say at that point. So they needed that game at home. They got Cooper Kupp back that game as well with Puka. Everything kind of went wrong situation-wise on a short week when we played the Rams the last time. And I just think it will be a different game this time. But we'll get into that in the playoff predictions. But terrible. I think we shot ourselves in the foot for sure. Chance to have 2 home games go to the Super Bowl completely.
5.
Yes. Completely fucked that up. But I can't really, I don't really, because if he just makes those throws, that's a blowout. And then I've seen a lot of Vikings people, because me being on Vikings lore, come after KOC, right? Say KOC is the problem. I'm like, KOC can draw up everything possible. He can't go out there and throw the ball for him.
KOC being the problem.
Bro,
15 wins.
Bro, it's a legit Vikings lore that I hear about KOC.
Like the favorite to win Coach of the Year.
He legit. There were trade talks because he hasn't gotten extended yet. Just basically off the fact that just his agent and our GM haven't talked all year.
Well,
I saw that.
That is interesting. But to say teams are calling about Kevin O'Connell, probably the coach of the year. Now we're looking at a quarterback carousel where he's going to win regardless of who is that quarterback, it seems like, in the regular season. I just don't think KOC is the one to blame, and I see too much of that going around, just in Vikings lore and every media cycle as well when it comes to KOC, when I think he's the top 5 coach in the league, in my opinion. So that's just my opinion on what went down. I don't think our season's washed and it's time to panic. We're still gonna be fine. We're acting like that was a playoff game and we lost it. That's what the media was thinking. Now, glad we didn't record this pod right after like we could have, and we waited. Now I got to let it sit, sleep on it.
Yeah, you was about that KOC trade, huh? You was like, get this motherfucker off my team. I get it.
I go to war with my dad all the time because he's one of the people that is quick to put the blame on KOC. Sometimes good reason, sometimes not. And I'm just like, he's a 14-win team. He had us at 12 2 years ago. The only reason we weren't good last year is because of injuries.
I don't know where you blame KOC, genuinely.
Now I will say the stock on Brian Flores and Aaron Glenn during this game, holy shit. I think Aaron Glenn was already going to be picked up anyways for the job he's done with Les on that defense, but man, the stock of those two guys, I feel went up increasingly during that game for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And what they've both been able to do. But we can get into our playoff predictions if we want to wrap it up there.
Yep.
But
so we can start out with everybody's going to have their own kind of bracket in their head that they've made up and everything else. But we're going to talk about every single matchup, a little bit of a breakdown, give our predictions on who you guys think are going to win. We can start out with Chargers and the Texans in Houston. What are we thinking?
Just to keep my rhetoric going, I'm going to take Houston.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with the Chargers here. I think
the Chargers.
11-win ball club, Nick. 11-win ball club.
11-win ball club about to be in the second
round
of the playoff.
When the lights are the brightest and Nico Collins is back, I think this is where we do it. Right here.
He been back.
See,
he been back. He been back.
Back.
Nah, I don't know. He been back. That motherfucker been mad since he came back. He been so mid through
he been
so
so-
many
he's been so
highlights
bad.
because of
Pro bowler.
dumbass.
He's a Pro
When he-
bowler. That's how long he's been back.
when he takes
Yeah.
the top off, get ready.
Like,
Right. Off
thing-
Derwin James.
Mm-hmm.
I think these two teams match up perfectly. Like, these are two teams that run through their defense, and the Texans' defense, while that offense has been mid, that defense is top tier, top caliber. I would feel a little bit differently if they had Tank Dell healthy, but him going down, leaving
It does
only
hurt.
Nico Collins, now you're down Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs, and the offense already isn't flowing going into the playoffs against the Chargers team built off their defense. Your O-line is iffy already.
Horrid.
Like, the Chargers
shit
have
is
a
so
really good pass rush. It's really going to come down to, like, what quarterback gets protected the best. And I'm going to lean with Justin Herbert in that line being able to protect him better than Houston will with CJ Stroud with what I've seen this year. I think the Chargers win. I think the Chargers pull out one on the road. I did some scores just to be funny. I think they win 21-17.
Ooh, I like that.
21-17 Chargers.
I just
I like
don't know
that.
who's going to stop Ladd. I mean, Ladd has just proven every week now going forward that he's
J.K. Dobbins
Right.
being back does have so much to do with why I think the
Yes.
Chargers will win this game
It
as
helps a
well.
lot.
that does
Now,
help a lot.
Houston's very good against the run, but Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, there's a gap there.
Yeah.
And we saw that gap when he went down.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they get run out on the road. I think Justin Herbert is just gonna do better under the hard situations. When you're getting rushed with 2 minutes left, I would just rather have Justin Herbert. I think he's gonna get done.
And he's been very just efficient in general with
Yeah.
the interceptions in general have been so low. I know he's
Mhm.
throwing the ball less than he has in the past, but I feel like he's just this
Probably
is
a
like
good thing.
yeah, this is the most efficient he's been. And I feel like this is really showing what Justin Herbert can truly be. Because in the past couple of years, I mean, we know throwing the ball, and we've seen it with Josh Allen. Both of them in the past years, throw the ball. But now you put him with a run game and a coach that knows what he's doing. You see how elite of a quarterback he truly is. Because the arm talent's going to be there, but I think they pull out one for sure. So we're all going Chargers except for Connor going the Texans to
Will
keep that
Disley,
narrative.
10 receptions, 94 yards, and a touchdown.
My Texans.
Just wait on it. The Will Disley legacy game.
Next, we have Steelers at Ravens.
Good game right here.
I don't even want to
Double
talk.
digit spread, by the way.
I don't even want to break that
It's
down.
not.
Flock, Ravens, flock.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Ravens.
Yeah.
It's close, but I'm gonna take the Ravens.
I'm gonna take
No. I don't think it's close.
I'm gonna take the Ravens, but I do think they pull away late, and I think it's gonna be close. In division, for some reason, Lamar just plays down to standards against the Steelers, and it's the playoffs, and we haven't seen Lamar perform that well in the playoffs. I think it's closer than people think throughout the first half and halfway through the third, but I think Ravens pull away late.
They blew us out at home. They just blew us out at home 2 weeks ago.
Killjoy.
They just put 40 on our head.
Killjoy.
Now we got to walk back into Baltimore after going 0-4 in the last 4 weeks. Not even 3 weeks at this point. I mean, the schedule was fucked. But
This was
I'm not
almost
gonna
a
blame-
gauntlet at the end.
yeah, I'm not gonna blame the schedule for that. I mean, you got to win games if you're a good team. If you're an elite team, you got to win games when they matter, and we didn't. So I don't know. This Ravens team looks like one of the most improved teams coming into the playoffs right now. Their defense is starting to show up. Obviously, they have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. You got to find a way to stop both of them. That's fucking hard. And God, the Steelers offense looks. I don't know. And I don't know. I've argued with this in our group chat so much with fucking our other Steeler fan we have. I'm so sick of it. But if it's Tomlin and that's the reason we're running the ball so much, so be it. But I'm sick of it. I don't give a fuck that you want to. I don't give a fuck if you want to keep the ball out of Lamar and Derek's hands. You're not going to do that running the ball 3 times and punting it back to them. So at this point, let that shit fly. Let Russ air it out. We put up 40 on the Bengals, man. Go fucking do something.
It also doesn't help that towards the back half of the year, George Pickens but talent-wise and everything he can do, he's one of the most talented receivers in all of football. But it doesn't help that has all this antics going on. It doesn't help that he had a hamstring thing that took him out for weeks at a time. So those things don't help while you're entering this gauntlet and going through this gauntlet at the end of the year. But this was always the part of the Steelers' schedule. They had a light first half to build up these wins, build up the record, to be able to sustain this gauntlet and be able to go through it.
Yep.
But I think this is going to be your classic Ravens-Steelers game. I think it's going to be gritty. I think it's going to be low scoring for the most part. I just think the Ravens will end up pulling away late. But I'm not going to be the one out here to just say that the Ravens are going to kill the Steelers, because in division, like, it could happen, but in division, I just think it's going to be low scoring.
I mean,
Back and
even
forth a little bit
when
till
we
the
were
end.
at Heinz, it was close in the first half, I'm pretty sure, and then they came out second half and just we didn't look good. So
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure I thought it was close in that first half. I thought it was like 17-10 or something, or like Yeah, I thought we were only down a score. Let me go look at that. But I could definitely see that happening again. I could see it being close in the first half, and then all of a sudden we're just like, fuck it. Yeah, it was 17-10 in that first half, and we only put up 7 in the second half, and they put up 17 again. So, like, that just can't happen in a playoff game. So we'll see.
Playoff game, and how we've seen Lamar Jackson perform in previous years just in the playoffs. I mean, this is like the worst case scenario for a first round matchup
Yeah,
for the Ravens. But I think they end up winning. I just think it's going to be a lot closer. The Steelers will cover that spread, in my
What's the
opinion.
9.5.
Yeah, they will cover that spread, in my opinion.
So big.
They'll pull away. The Ravens will pull away late, but I think they cover the spread.
I mean, I ain't gonna touch it, but I think the Ravens could cover that easy.
It depends. Like, it really just depends on what George Pickens you get. If you get the George Pickens that's locked in, like he was at the start of the year when Russ got the job at quarterback, then you're like, oh shit. Then the offense, because you can't run the ball if the team ain't scared of you passing it. So your play action shit off of that. So if they can get Pickens to get going in this game and have a big bounce back game from his dud against the Bengals, like, then you could be looking at something. But I think he's the X factor. It comes down to him. If he has a big day and a big game, like which he can against the Ravens, I think it makes this matchup super interesting. But you can never count on something like that. So I gotta lean the Ravens.
Yep.
I mean, they could cover the spread, and it could be 23-13, and that could still be a gritty game, like some late-ass touchdown. I mean, that covers the spread technically. That's a 10-point loss. But it could be – I mean, the spread don't say all. Do I think it's a complete blowout and a masterclass by the Ravens again? I hope not. I'm a little worried with how we've looked lately. But it is AFC North, so it's unpredictable. They're always close. Yeah. Like, even the Bengals offense got slowed down by us. I mean – that game we came back and almost won. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not optimistic. I'm not gonna get my hopes up to watch us get shit on in the first round again. But I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna work. But I'm gonna watch that game while I'm walking people to them tables, and then I'm gonna be like, damn, it's 13-0 Ravens. Ain't shit new. All right, back to the host stand. Here we go. So,
next matchup: Broncos at Bills.
I mean, I guess the Bills.
Yeah, I think that the Bills don't like that matchup though. But I'm gonna go with the Bills. But I think they're a little more worried than they think. I don't think they think it's a cakewalk. Like, I don't think they're gonna walk in there with their chest big as fuck.
I could see the Bills winning by a decent margin, mostly just to the fact that I think that Buffalo is gonna be such a crazy place to play in, and I think it really is. I think is gonna get to Bo Nix. Like, if it's so much of a different, like, imagine if this game was at Denver, then we're like, oh my god, Denver could actually maybe win. Be like, no, you're not going into Buffalo and beating them. I think it's gonna be like, I think the Bills will probably score very quick, very early, and I don't think the Broncos offense will be able to keep up with Buffalo.
So when I kind of like looked at this game in general, I would say it's a big trap game for Buffalo. I have Buffalo winning, but I think this is a huge trap game. I think Buffalo was the media wanted to push, oh, nobody wants to see the Bengals. I think the Bills would much rather see the Bengals than this Denver defense, in my opinion. That's just me, because I think Denver's defense is years better than the Bengals at this point.
But the Bengals offense is years better than Denver's.
But I think for what they have in Denver matches up well with what they do offensively in Baltimore. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think, in my opinion. Yes, I do think, like you said, I think the Bills score early, and it could get rowdy in there. But I think Sean Payton is going to prove why coaching matters. And I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people think. I have the Bills winning by like anywhere between a field goal and a touchdown late, in my opinion. I think Denver's going to come to play. I think this is a trap game on the low end. I think Denver's going to
I'm gonna
get
take the
after
Bills
it.
with double digits.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bills.
I'm going Bills, but by a tud. I
I don't know.
don't
The
think they-
Broncos lead the league in sacks. Like, I just don't think they pressure. I know it's Josh Allen and he gets out of the pocket, but I think they like to collapse. I think they've been good at containing quarterbacks all year, and we'll see. I also think it's close, Corey. I'm on that same boat as you.
The only knock I'll give Denver and on the defensive side is when it's really, and we've seen this kind of exposed in the past couple of weeks, especially against the Bengals, is where when it's legit any other receiver that doesn't have Surtain on him, who is probably going to be the decoy because he's favored right now, they're just getting worked. Like we saw, and I know it's T. Higgins, and I don't think the Bills have anybody receiver-wise up to that level, but T. Higgins absolutely killed all those other corners.
Yeah.
So that's the weak point of the Denver defense. But with the Bills, yes, they do spread the ball around, but they don't have a true number one on that team. So I think it could get a little bit interesting to see like what matchup Surtain has and like how they use him in this one.
I don't think he'll shadow anyone. I think he's going to play a side.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you're Josh Allen, you throw away from that side, but they're going to double team that side. So it's going to get interesting. It's going to be how the Steelers played Jamar. It's going to be, or let me rephrase that. It's going to be how the Steelers played T. So they put JPJ on T, and then they double teamed Lamar basically the entire game. And I mean, it sort of worked. I mean, Jamar only, did he break 100? I don't even know. I didn't get to watch the game. But it's going to be that same way if you're the Broncos, especially knowing that secondary cornerback is that weak. You're going to have to do that. I think you leave Pat on an island with whoever he matches up with because you know how good he is and you trust him to do that, especially going up against Khalil Shakir or Keon Coleman or Amari Cooper. Like, I'm not saying they're scrubs. I'm not saying they haven't had good years. I think Khalil Shakir has had a very solid year, and I think Amari Cooper is still a very solid receiver, and Keon Coleman is kind of coming into his shoes a little bit towards the end of this year. But I mean, it's Pastor Tan's projected to win fucking decoy. I don't think you're gonna be scared of anyone right now. So
I think it's a better matchup than people think. I think it does end up close, but I still lean Bills. So we're all on the Bills there. Next one, Sunday afternoon, right after this game. I just went in order of when all the games were. Packers at Eagles.
Wrap it up. Eagles.
Hurts playing?
he's in concussion protocol still.
So Jalen Hurts has not practiced yet.
Yeah.
Apparently, from reports that I saw today, that he hasn't stepped foot on a practice field since.
Mm.
And he's still in concussion protocol. And now it's 3 weeks out of concussion protocol.
That's crazy.
And I wish I would have screenshotted it. I briefly saw a stat that says quarterbacks coming out of concussion protocol show like a 22% decrease in production once they do come back. So his health is really the determining factor in this game, because people look at the Packers as what they did last year has something that they could do again. I am going the Eagles because I think the Packers are a team with legit no identity at this point. I think when you look at the narrative around them last year is how they have so many good receivers. Now it seems like they need one.
It's Josh Jacobs or
receiver to
death
step
for that
up.
team.
Yes, like they don't have any consistency at any receiver position out there. And now you don't have Christian Watson. I just think it fares a little bit differently than it was last year for a Dallas team that they went into Dallas and won. Now I could be proved wrong because
And you're coming off a loss to the Chicago Bears.
I guess, whatever that game was. But, like, I'm going to go the Eagles just because I feel like the Packers don't really have an identity right now. They have a lot of holes offensively that many people didn't think they had. And you're playing an Eagles defense that's pretty good.
I think they're top 2 in everything right now.
Yeah.
Like, they're playing so well, which is stupid. I hate it.
It's very... Because I just never know what I'm going to get from the Packers. I never know what Packers team I'm going to get. Like, it's like anytime they played a team like Minnesota, where I'm watching them, I'm like, the Packers were no-show in the first half, and then all of a sudden try to make this late bullshit comeback in the third, and then it doesn't end up working their way. But it's like when you look at their games, like they haven't had a big win all year. When they've played playoff teams, they've lost. They've already lost to the Eagles. They lost 2 to the Vikings. They've lost 2 to the Lions. Like every time they've played playoff competition, they've lost this year. And now you're going into a game without, in my opinion, still your best weapon on the outside. And
they're in
Christian
Philly,
Watson.
right?
Yes, and they're in Philly. So I just think it could be close, but I wouldn't be surprised. But it also depends on what Jalen Hurts you get, because like Jalen Hurts hasn't practiced in I don't know how long. So and he's coming off of a concussion, and with him rushing the ball as much as he does, like I just think they're gonna lean on Saquon. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith are gonna do just enough to get them this one. And the Packers don't have Jair Alexander, one of the best corners in all of ball, because he played a big difference in that Dallas game last year. So I just think they're a little too hurt and they don't really have an identity. I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
I'm going to take Philly, hoping that Jalen Hurts is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Me as well.
I'm gonna be different. I'm going with the Packers.
Ooh, you took that.
I am worried about the Jalen Hurts injury. Now maybe they're playing it mad safe, right? Maybe that's the bit. Maybe that's the thing. Like maybe he probably could practice, and they're like, we're not gonna risk it. You know this offense. We all know what's gonna happen. Saquon's gonna get us down to the 1. Get your ass in there, Jalen. So then maybe they're like, we don't need to have you risk anything, and we don't need to risk you. Even like we don't want you feeling bad at all going into this game. So maybe that's why he's not practicing. But it doesn't look good when he still hasn't practiced yet out of concussion protocol for 3 weeks. I think this Packers defense is what?
Isn't it that he just hasn't passed protocol? I don't think it's like they're holding him out of practice.
He hasn't passed protocol.
Oh, he hasn't even passed. Oh, he hasn't passed protocol.
Like
he's still, because he's still in it, right?
Yeah,
he hasn't even been through the stages yet.
Jesus.
So it's like,
and he's 3 weeks into this injury. That's insane.
That's alarming
weird
to me.
That is weird.
What? So when the hit initially happened, I was watching the game and he got up and he looked okay.
Yeah, he tried to act like he was fine to stay in the game.
But what was that game? 3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So so I think this injury is way more severe than people think it is on the DL, because it's been 3 weeks. And yes,
for a concussion.
The game at this past week didn't matter.
God.
But to not step on the field at all, to get reps at all, like all the other quarterbacks did, like Josh Allen did, Stroud did, like at least just to get a rhythm before the playoffs, like to not touch the field in 3 weeks, and then you're going into a playoff game. Meanwhile, you are at home, but you're going against a Packers team to where like you're a rushing quarterback.
We've seen what they do. Like they're hungry. Like we've seen them in the playoffs last year. They're hungry.
I don't fault anybody that's taking the Packers, because I think this injury might be on the DL a little bit more serious than people think for him being out this long with a concussion protocol, and he's not even through the stages from what reports say.
Yeah, and I'm not trusting Kenny Pickett or Tanner McKee against that Packers defense right now.
No,
I'm hoping, and I'm predicting as
don't do that, Connor.
Jalen Hurts will be healthy by then, and I think he will. But
yeah,
it's alarming for sure.
If Hurts is healthy, I'm going the Packers. But if Jalen Hurts is not on that field, I'm going the Packers, because the Packers will just, all right, you have Kenny Pickett in there. Kenny Pickett beat us through the air. We're not going to let Saquon eat us up all game. We're going to stack the box, and then it's going to be a long day for Saquon Barkley, basically.
Yeah. Kenny Pickett got benched for Mason Rudolph for the Steelers last year in a playoff game. So I don't know if I'd trust him to win this one.
Right. But it's going to be interesting. We could wake up tomorrow and be like, Jalen Hurts has passed protocol. But the fact that it's been this long and he hasn't is a little bit alarming. Got to bring it up.
I'm still going to go with the Packers. I'll stick to it. I won't switch. I'll stick to it. Fuck it. Even if he comes back. 3 weeks off concussion, that head hurting.
You know you still have a headache.
Yeah. Them Tylenols ain't going to last forever. Mm-hmm.
Washington at Bucks. Sunday night.
Cinema. Commanders.
Oh.
I'm also going to take the Commanders. 2 NFC East teams in the second round. Oh my god.
My god.
I think I gotta go with.
It's better than the NFC North.
Fuck. I think I gotta go with the Bucks. I'm gonna take the vets. I'm gonna take the vets here to get it done. I'm gonna do it.
I'm also going Tampa. I think Tampa, their offense is going to be able to do whatever they want. like with how
I
this team
disagree.
has rushed the ball, they've been the best rushing team outside of the Eagles and Baltimore all year. You have Bucky Irving, you have a great O-line. Like when you need it, Baker's gotten it done all year. And when they're playing playoff teams, they've already beat the Lions this year. They've already beat the Eagles this year. They played it super close with Kansas City. They already beat the Commanders while early in the season that was. They've beaten them before. Like, you're in Tampa, kind of having the same conversation to Bo Nix, to Jane Daniels on the road, hostile environment, playoffs. Baker and this Tampa team, they come to play when the occasions need it. And everybody's bringing up the Lattimore, Mike Evans. I feel like when you got to have it, Mike Evans is going to get it for you. I think McMillan has been phenomenal for them this year as
He's
well.
been so good for them.
They're going to probably get Cade Otton back, I assume. But with how they're running the ball, and Washington is not good against stopping the run, I think they're going to be able to really do what they want on the ground. And Bucky Irvin's been that dude this year when he's gotten the appropriate snaps.
Bucks defense ain't all that either. Terry McLaurin, 2 touchdowns.
Yep. Brian Robinson.
Hmm.
Jaden
Nah.
Daniels.
In a shootout,
Jeremy McNichols.
I trust the Bucks more in a shootout
Same.
because I don't think the Commanders are going to be able to be that successful on the ground because the Bucks are phenomenal when it comes to stopping the run. Now, secondary wise, they're weak,
Here's the
but
thing.
when it comes against the rush, they're good.
I think they're going to be. You might be right about like with running backs. I think Jane Daniels might have like a day on the ground, like 100
could.
rushing yards type shit.
He could, but I'm a lean Tampa. I think Tampa, when they've needed it, they've been one of the sleeper teams of football, in my opinion, all year when it comes to playing against playoff caliber competition.
I think that Bucks defense has been one of the best defenses against the rush all year. So you take away Brian Robinson and you try and take away Jaden Daniels' legs and you force him to make plays.
That's
I
not gonna
don't know if
happen.
I don't know if I trust Cliff Kingsbury to get it done in a playoff game. I don't. I simply don't with his play calling. I'm going to take the veteran leadership of the Bucks with Baker and Mike Evans against a young Commanders defense to just make plays when it matters.
You'll see.
Right.
You'll see, bro.
All right, bro.
Y'all will see.
All right, bro. I'm ready to see. I'm ready to see when these Bucks win 37-14. I'm ready to see it.
Not against that Commanders defense.
I'm ready to see it. All right, man.
So me and Will are on the Bucks. Y'all two are on Commanders. Now we're on Monday night, Vikings at Rams. So this would be the last game in the wild card.
Rams.
Mm-hmm. I'm waiting on it. Go ahead, Will. Go ahead, follow suit, Will. It's all good.
No,
It's all
no.
good, Will. Go ahead. I already know what Nick gonna say.
Hey, we beaten you twice in 1 year.
Oh, I gotta ride Sam Darnold. It's my guy. I gotta do it. Pause. My fault. Whoa. But I've liked Sam Darnold ever since he came out of the draft, and I'm glad he's succeeding. And I'm gonna ride with the Vikings here. I've never done that on this pod. God, so switching up, but I hope Sam Darnold succeeds. I want to see him succeed.
Call me shook by recency bias, but I'm going to take the Rams.
Okay.
I think Sam Darnold is going to play like shit.
Yep, me too.
I think he's seeing ghosts.
Ghost is crazy.
I'm going with the Vikings, kind of for
Whoa.
the reasons I named earlier. When we first played the Rams, Darius Shaw going down at half completely changed everything about that game because they were able to just get insane pressure just
Right.
without even like blitzing or anything. Just you lose your star left tackle for a backup. That's going to happen. You don't have Blake Cashman or Ivan Pace, your two best linebackers in that game. Like you lose both of them. Short week as well. You played on Sunday, traveled, played on Thursday night. Like I just think circumstances are going to be different. Week off, you're fully healthy on the defensive side of the ball, and what that defense did against the best offense in football, most would say, in Detroit, with what that defense did, obviously the score says differently, but if you watch the game, you saw how those first 3 quarters went. I think with that defense playing at that level right now, I think it gives the Rams a tough day because with the Rams, yes, they've been winning games. That offense has not looked good at all. Cooper Kupp is not even in the offense. It seems like they only throw the ball to Puka now. Like Cooper Kupp had been abysmal these past 4 weeks, even though they've been winning games. But it's just like that offense doesn't look quite the same as it did earlier in the year. And with our defense healthy, I think we give him a tough day.
I'm also taking Addison and Jefferson against that young Rams defensive backfield. I think they're gonna fucking eat.
But I think
Now,
it's
if
going to
Darnold
be
misses Addison when he's wide open, that's
Right.
on him. Like fuck. But I think they're about to be naked. I think they're about to be. They might have a day. Like they might both go for 100 plus.
I mean,
So
I agree
when you
with
at- so-
everything Will's saying.
So when Cooper Cup has 1 reception for 4 yards to end the game, what are we gonna say?
Yeah, when Matthew Stafford hits Puka with his 14th reception while Cooper Kupp is butt naked open on the other side of the field, but don't mess with him no more.
He must
I don't see nothing wrong with it as long as you win.
Fucking hates that guy now.
No, because the fantasy performance Cooper Kupp put on that
I'm
Thursday night
saying.
against the 49ers
Here's the buy.
was
There it is.
terrible. Terrible.
That's why you didn't pick him.
Sold my
tell me
fucking
Cooper Kupp
shit,
couldn't catch a
bro.
ball. You're telling me
Sold
Cooper
me.
Kupp, a Triple Crown winner, couldn't catch one ball for my fantasy team.
Didn't even get looked at. I think he had 2 targets. That's all he had.
It was raining
Fuck.
so hard. Matthew Stafford couldn't see him, but he saw Puka though.
Oh, he
course.
saw Puka. That's never
Saw
going to
Puka.
fail. That's never
Puka
going
wide
to fail.
open to him.
God damn it.
But I do think this is going to be a really, really good game because the first time they played was really good as well.
What's the spread on that one? 3? Or is it pick'em?
2.
Oh, okay, it's
Vikings
basically
way.
pick'em. Damn.
That's
In Minnesota, though, that shit's gonna be
Point spread.
fucking cracking.
Now it's in LA.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
right. I forgot.
So it's
That
going to
still
feel
probably
like
be
it's a
cracking,
usual site
but-
game.
Yeah. No, those LA. I don't know. LA's got. I don't know. LA's massive. They've got a lot of Rams fans. We'll see. I think a lot of Minnesota fans fucking travel down there, though. Minnesota fans are fucking psychos. So,
We'll see what
Listen.
happens.
All right.
Moving on to the divisional round. Chargers at Chiefs. Starting on the AFC.
So I have,
Texans and Chiefs.
but they would play the lowest seed.
Texans,
So
because
the
you have
Texans-
Bills and
Texans
Ravens.
would-
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Chiefs, Texans. Chiefs.
I mean,
Chiefs, Chargers.
it's the Chiefs, unfortunately.
Played them very tough.
Corey,
In
Uh-huh.
division.
you better say you guys better have the Chargers going to the Super Bowl, dude.
It's hard.
Like-
It's hard to beat a team 3 times in one
That's
year.
what I'm saying. That's
It's
exactly
hard.
what I'm saying.
It's difficult to do.
I'm saying.
3 times.
Like they're 2-0
I'm
against them.
saying. I mean, like that defense. They go get after it, man. They go get. Like
But
it's
then,
just.
How are
It's
you
just.
going to cover Kelsey on an option route? You're not.
Derwin James though, like yeah.
Give me the Chiefs.
It's the Chiefs till it's not,
God.
guys. We know this.
Give me-
We know this.
Give
We
me
know
the
it.
Chiefs, but I gotta score, and this Chiefs by a field goal.
By
This
one.
gonna be a gritty game.
Mm-hmm.
This gonna be. I ain't even gonna be shocked. LA come out there, score opening drive.
I will be.
LA got to go out there and play in the cold, bro. They don't know what it's like to be cold in LA.
Yeah, and that
Me and Nick
snow
might
they just
personally
got.
be on a call for this game. This is
I'll be
our
over.
Chargers. This is our Chargers.
I'll be at work, but
11
Awesome
ball
shit.
club. This is where the story ends, though. Great,
Yup.
phenomenal year. Phenomenal year. They didn't believe in us, but it's just KC until it's not.
Fucking sick of it. I'm sick
And
of it.
then we're all have Bills and Ravens. And the other.
That's gonna be a good ass game.
This is it. Ravens. They beat them.
I'm on the same boat.
They beat
I'm
them
on the same boat.
And they're gonna beat them again.
Mm-hmm. Give me Lamar. Give it to me. Sorry. Pause. Didn't mean that.
Lord.
No, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that.
Today's your day.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Give me the Bills.
Will the Bills be at home?
Yeah.
Oh,
Give
Still
me the
Ravens.
Bills.
Still give me the Ravens.
I'm gonna take Josh Allen to get it done.
There might be 40 fucking points scored by both sides. Both teams are just getting the red zone and they're just getting in. Like,
Hmm.
they're just getting in. Like, I'm going to go Buffalo. The slightest lean Buffalo way. At home. I think when you're looking at it, like until I see Lamar have that game in the playoffs, I'm just not going like because he just hasn't. He hasn't had that game in the playoffs like Allen performs in the playoffs. When Allen gets into the playoffs these past couple years, Allen has been lights out in every single big game in the playoffs. Haven't seen that from Lamar at all. Actually, I haven't seen Lamar have one defining game in the playoffs years.
He could have a great game against the Steelers, and I probably wouldn't care. I would need to see it against like
You
either
can't count
the
that
Bills
one.
or the Chiefs. I need to
You
see it
can't
against
count
one of
that
those
one.
teams.
So I'm gonna go Buffalo, just because I think Allen,
Mm.
when you gotta have it, he performs. And when you have had it for the Ravens in the past couple of years, Lamar hasn't had it. I mean, he really didn't have any really defining games last year, and they were at home. Like the game where the world was waiting on Lamar Jackson to get to the Super Bowl in Baltimore against KC, he didn't have his best game. Like he didn't. Like
He was our savior that year.
I have to go with Buffalo. I think Buffalo gets it done. And I think Josh Allen has that performance. Oh, God, if Lamar wins MVP too, book it. Whatever Allen over is that game, take it. Everything.
Mhm.
Everything. So I'm gonna go Buffalo. And then it would be Vikings Lions divisional for me. And then it would
Same.
be same with Will. And it would be
I have Lions Commanders.
so the Commanders would be the low seed. And then Connor would have the same.
What are you thinking here, Connor?
Lions.
All right. I'm with you.
Cool.
I got the Lions. Which just Commanders. That's just where your story ends,
That would be
and that's what it would be if it was the Bucks too.
that would be a terrible matchup for them.
Yeah,
Lions
Just get
Commanders,
shit
yeah.
on. Probably
that
should
would
shit
be
on.
tough.
And they made it past the first round. They should be happy.
Yeah,
Making
Yeah.
the playoffs,
Glad you
should.
can
They're just happy to be there, for real.
God, I mean, they had the division in a chokehold for like week 8. Like week 8, we were like, damn.
the
Commanders.
Eagles won like 10 straight.
10 in a
Yeah.
row. They won
Yeah.
10 in a fucking row. I looked at that today. I was like,
Yeah.
how many in a row did they win?
You're
Oh,
like, oh, well,
Eagles were looking
Cool.
shaky. Commanders really.
2-2 to
Right
start the
hand
year,
up.
and then 10 straight.
Right hand up.
Fuck.
You know, I will say, while we're on the Commanders topic, Jay Noriega came to my household during the summer and was saying the Commanders were going to be a 10-win ball club. And drunk Connor would just have none of it. But when I'm sitting here looking at the Commanders, right hand up.
When I'm
But
sitting
yeah.
looking at the Bears Commanders box score,
Mm.
we're supposed to have 6 wins. Just know that. Just know that. We might be in the Super Bowl, but that Hail Mary never happens.
Man,
Mm.
Change the trajectory of the whole season.
Mhm.
y'all really didn't win a game for a month after that.
Yeah, then
2
we beat
months.
the Packers.
That's all that mattered, though. That's a
That's all
great
that
way to
matters.
end
It was
y'all
our Super
season.
Bowl.
Yeah,
Caleb
that's a great way
undefeated
to
in
end y'all
Lambeau.
season.
Caleb Williams is undefeated in Lambeau Field.
Will, you can go ahead with our side.
I gotta go with the Lions. Unfortunately, this is where it goes. I mean,
This
they
is
just
where-
look like the best or second best team in football right now. So, Jahmyr Gibbs, you're supposed to get Montgomery back. You're gonna have that 1-2 punch again. Jared Goff, I mean, yak merchant, but he gonna get it done. And that Lions defense can't bury what comes from the dirt. So, fuck whatever the fuck he said.
Meek Robinson.
Something like that. But they look good. They just look like true contenders right now, which is crazy because I was hating mid-year. So
I gotta ride with my guys. Like Nick just said about Chargers and Chiefs, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. It's hard.
It's not easy.
Here's my reasoning. Is basically summing it up. Summing this up
Not
as
easy.
what their game plan was. If you're going to play us again in a divisional and you are going to play one-on-one with all of our receivers, you did it once. I don't think they're going to be able to play that way again. I'm going to take us in the divisional to beat them and go on to the championship game. And we're going to get back for the loss for the 1 seed. And we're going to go into Detroit and beat them. Because if they try to play one-on-one with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison again, I have a hard time believing that they're going to win that game. So they're going to have to change something up. You did it once. I don't think you stop Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison one-on-one again, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Now they do get the bye, so I don't know what players are going to get back after the bye, because they definitely needed the bye, but I don't know who on that defense is scheduled to come back other than like Montgomery on the offensive side, and he's even coming off of whatever the injury was to his knee. So like I don't know who they're exactly getting back. I haven't seen any reports of that, or it's just going to be rest for the people they already have, because they haven't had a bye since week 5. So it's going to be very interesting, but I think if they're going to go into that game playing the same one-on-one defense and trying to blitz, I think we make the adjustments, and I think we beat them. And I have us going to the championship game. And now I'm on the other side with Tampa and Eagles.
Same.
I thought you picked the Packers.
Oh, fuck, I did.
So you have Packers and Lions, actually.
Actually, yeah, I do. Fuck, I did. Well, it's still the Lions. Yeah, say da-da, but...
we got Eagles Commanders, Nick?
No, we have Eagles Rams.
Yeah, Eagles Rams.
And then Will would have Vikings Eagles.
Yeah, that's what... Yeah. Wait.
I got the Eagles.
Yeah, I got the Eagles. I just think that's a really bad matchup for the Rams.
Yeah.
Probably just get, shit on. Sadly.
Because I'd have, Packers, Lions...
Any team that can just forcefully run the ball on the Rams is a bad matchup.
And make them struggle.
Yeah.
Have a good defense, make them struggle on offense.
They're more so. I'm not even really about their passing game, because I think their passing game, when it matters, I think they're going to be fine. But it's just but the ability that the Rams don't have to stop any kind of run game, because they already played this year. Like most of these playoff matchups have already been seen in the regular season, which is interesting. And they had no answer for Saquon Barkley, at all.
Yeah.
And I don't see anything really changing with that for your guys' picks right there.
Yeah, no. So mine will be Lions Eagles.
I have Vikings Bucks. Vikings Bucks. And I go with the Vikings. And then we get Lions Vikings championship round.
I have Tampa
Lions
Eagles. I have Tampa in the Eagles, and Tampa Baker, man. There's something about him. There's something about him. What Connor say? Connor Alonso said, wise words, said, for every 5 bad takes Corey got, he got that one. He got that one. Give me Tampa. Give me Tampa to upset the Eagles in the divisional.
They already beat them once. Great at stopping the run. Go ahead, Jalen Hurts, beat us through the air. Let's see if you can beat us through the air, basically. And I think Tampa got what it takes to beat the Eagles. I think they beat them last year. You can say what you want. A.J. Brown didn't play. Handled them last year. They've already handled them this regular season as well. Give me Tampa. I think Baker's that dude. I'm going to go ahead and ride with Tampa to the championship game.
I love that.
And then on my AFC, I have Bills Chiefs.
We all have Bills
and Arrowhead.
No, I got Bills Ravens.
Oh yeah, you have Ravens.
Or not Bills Ravens, Chiefs Ravens.
I also have Chiefs Ravens.
Ravens. It's time.
Savior's here this year. Fuck it. Please, Ravens. Lamar. Please. Ravens. Dude. It's the Chiefs.
I just, for y'all, for the Ravens side of things, I really think it was just last year. I think if there was any year to go, it was last year.
I'm in that boat.
Your defense got worse. Yes, you got better offensively. Your defense got worse. But you're playing a Chiefs team where defensively, they just get it done. They're going to be able to...
Lamar won't allow it.
See, they're going to be able to hold Derrick Henry in check for the most part, like they already did this year. Now, Lamar's going to do Lamar on the ground. But like they did in the start of the year, I know it was week 1, they held Derrick Henry in check. And I just think if it was the year for the Ravens, it was last year. You were at home and you let a dud. But as this goes to the point where Lamar has to have that defining game. If they want to beat the Chiefs, you have to have that defining game to beat them. And I just don't see them beating them for those picks that y'all have.
It's the Chiefs again, unfortunately. That's where I'm at.
Because me and Nick had Chiefs Bills.
So you got me?
Yeah.
So I have Bills Chiefs, and I think it's the year. I think it's the Bills' year. I'm gonna take them to get to the Super Bowl. It's gonna be like the year that they weren't supposed to do it. They do it. I just think Josh Allen's gonna get it done in that moment. That's really it. I don't really have any reasoning for it. It's like when they get in that game, it's gonna be another cinema game, and then I think they might either whether they have it and they get time running out and they get the last possession or whatever it is. I think the Bills will have it this year.
I'm going KC.
Respect. And you know what? I could have gone either way.
I think a lot of this comes down to we're hearing a lot of Josh Allen this, Lamar Jackson that, Joe Burrow this. You're giving Patrick fucking Mahomes 2 home games and 20 days plus of rest. With this coaching staff, this defense, they're just going to get it done. No matter what they got to do, they're going to get it done. I think KC and Patrick Mahomes, he's going to put himself, he's already up there because I don't think they're in the same conversation as Patrick Mahomes, really. Lamar, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, they're not in the same conversation. There's going to be a gap after they get to the Super Bowl this year, in my opinion. Because I feel like he's also hearing a lot of this chatter about how good these other guys are playing. But when it comes down to it, it's just going to be him going to the Super Bowl again. Doesn't matter.
No.
They lost really one time this year. And that was to Buffalo. But Buffalo's beat them in the regular season in the past years and still lost to them in the playoffs. So I just think KC's going back to the Super Bowl. I think the Bills' angle to get there was to get that 1 seed, and they couldn't get that 1 seed. I think that was the angle to get them to the Super Bowl, and they didn't, because they lost that game to the Rams, and that kind of took them out of the race.
I don't know. I don't think the Bills are like this team where you have to where they need home field advantage like that.
It would have helped for sure, but I get your point. I get your point.
I don't know.
I think it's gonna be very interesting though.
And
either
matchup, like Josh, and no matter what the team is, like Josh Allen is the one of those guys where I feel like he's comfortable in Arrowhead. Like he's not good. Like he's gonna walk into that playoff game, and it's not like it's gonna phase him.
Right.
You know, it's not like he's gonna walk in there scared. Like that's one guy where it's like he's gonna go up there and match Patrick Mahomes.
He does. He's like the only guy, him and Burrow, really.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him from Lamar, and that's kind of my point with the Ravens, where I got to see it. But it's just like, I just feel like it's going to be that nip and tuck game, and then you're going to see Patrick Mahomes.
And he's just going to do it. I'm like, oh, well, why am I surprised?
It's going to be a 4th and 4 like the Buffalo 30, and like he's just going to take that bitch and leave him to like the 5, and it's going to wrap that game up.
As a podcast, we're going to bet on the Chiefs every round.
That's smart.
And if they lose, we just eat it.
Yep, we're happy.
You're happy.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh, Chiefs won, but I just won a fuck ton of money.
Right.
So you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Paper tickets.
So we all have KC except for Connor. Or when Nick has the Bills, me and Will have KC, and then he has the Ravens. So what are y'all NFC championships?
Lions, Vikings.
Eagles, Lions.
And
Vikings.
Lions, Vikings. I have Vikings, Tampa.
Oh, shit.
Vikings, Tampa.
Well.
I wonder who you're going to
What happened here? What the fuck happened here?
Someone wrote a perfect story.
Well, I mean...
Here we go,
crazy.
dude.
It's crazy. Y'all can go.
I don't know. How did we get here?
Y'all can go ahead with y'all picks.
I'm going to go the Lions over the Eagles. I think they're going to bring it together. Getting that 1 seed was crucial in this bye. I think they're going to be healthier, just more put together. I think they're going to play their game. It's going to be again another good matchup, I hope. But I'll take the Eagles in this one, or the Lions in this one. Sorry, Lions. I have the Eagles on my mind.
Because I'm taking the Eagles.
Really?
Ravens, Eagles, Super Bowl. battle.
Lions Vikings, the
You just want to be
rematch.
different.
The rematch.
The only thing about the Eagles that I have questions with is legit Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
That's the only if like Jalen Hurts just isn't the same quarterback that went to the Super Bowl those years ago.
He's
All
not
right.
elite.
He's
I
not.
don't think he's elite. I do
He's
not
not.
think Jalen Hurts is
Let's say
elite.
Jalen Hurts doesn't play next game and like they lose,
Yeah,
then it's fucking Lions.
it's Lions Vikings.
Lions Ravens.
Oh yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
And I'm only making that caveat just because Jalen Hurts could somehow not play.
Yeah.
This is all with a healthy Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that.
I just wish,
I have Lions
I just wish he
Vikings
was
and I have
coming in
Lions.
more of a rhythm going in. That's my only gripe with the Eagles. It's just like he's looks not even like the same person in quarterback that he was when they went to the Super Bowl.
No.
So
I think he's better.
you think
No,
he's,
I'm just-
it's just
He's not.
I have them losing to Tampa, so that's just me. But well, you can go ahead with yours.
Yeah, I got Lions Vikings, so I got the Lions taking that matchup again. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
I know it's in division again, and I know beating someone 3 times is hard, but that Lions team just looks so put together, and I don't see if they stay healthy throughout the entire playoffs, I don't see why they wouldn't walk back into their home stadium and just fucking do their thing again. I just don't. I don't know why. I don't know why that'd be a different. I just don't know why I'd have any different result. I know like the Vikings. If Darnold looks better, I know that game is better on paper looking, right? And I think the Vikings have a better chance to win. He missed a lot of open touchdowns, but I think that you're gonna go if you're the Lions and you saw that last matchup, you're gonna go look at the film and be like, all right, well there's this formation. You know, Addison's coming down on a slant, so either go through the pick or we're gonna have someone lurking right there. We're gonna have a linebacker lurk there, and Darnold probably won't have that read be open. So, and I think they'll just fix those problems to where their defense had those holes.
If they are to play again in
So-
the playoffs, I think that the matchup is going to be a lot different because
Yeah.
both teams will make, I guess, I want to say like over adjustments to what.
We could low key get a stinker in that game.
Yeah, like
Like it could low key be a stinker.
it could just be like another
defensive battle.
defensive just
Yeah,
masterpiece.
yeah, I could see that 100%. And just like I know the score at what 33-9 was 31-9.
Hmm.
I mean I could definitely see it being way low scoring because those teams are gonna. I could see them playing like feeling each other out for that first half.
God, I should have
So-
knew before that game started. I think America was on the over. The books just know.
Oh, probably.
The books
What was
just
it?
know.
50.5.
56.
Holy shit!
It was the
To start
highest
the
game.
game?
It was the highest game in like 3 years.
What the
In the
fuck?
over under. Like
God
56 and a
damn.
half. Well, I mean, I think the first time they played, they killed it. Both teams
Yeah,
scored over
they
30.
did. Yeah, but that's a high NFL over. That's a
Yeah.
crazy over.
On mine, Tampa, Vikings in Tampa, hostile environment. Like, I'm sorry, this is just the time to buy in on Minnesota. Everybody's out. They were frauds.
Hmm.
I'll be back no matter who we play. Philly, Tampa, in the championship game.
Hmm.
Don't matter. I got us going against whoever, and we're going to make the championship game bare minimum. That's my take, really. In this matchup, I have us going to the Super Bowl. I think we get to the championship game bare minimum out of the wild card.
Disgusting.
It's not going to matter because, in my opinion, whoever comes out of the NFC is going to get rolled by KC. And just, maybe not rolled, but they're just going to lose to KC, in my opinion. I don't think there's a team in the NFC that has the balance to beat KC when it matters. KC has an elite level defense and they have an elite level offense when it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If KC makes it, it's going to be tough for like any NFC team.
Yeah.
I think they take care and dispose of the Eagles, in my opinion.
Where's Super Bowl at?
New Orleans.
Hmm.
I
Is it
think,
New Orleans?
Mm.
I think so.
Interesting.
Like I think if they play the Lions, like that defense, like I just think you can't do what the Lions just did to like the Vikings you can't have that same mindset against somebody like Mahomes or like Allen or Lamar. I think whoever comes out of the AFC is winning the Super Bowl this year.
I don't know though. Like Mahomes has looked so. I know it's Mahomes and the playoffs, and especially you get him in the Super Bowl, but like this whole year, Mahomes has looked mid. Like I'm worried about the turnovers. I am a little worried about the turnovers for him.
That also kind of hurts because you got to think he lose Rashee Rice basically start of the year. You lose Pacheco basically start of the year. So now you bring in DeAndre Hopkins, and now you're kind of already weak at that room anyways. And you're kind of having to kind of shuffle the deck with a lot of the stuff in your weapons room. And Kelsey's kind of regressed, and like you're kind of, but like you bring in Kareem Hunt off the streets, and Kareem Hunt was one of the better backs and thriving. Like they just figure it out. I think it's that coaching staff. Like you have Mahomes, but that coaching staff doesn't get enough credit. But I guess I won't say the Ravens. I'm not as high on the Ravens, but if the Bills or Chiefs get to the Super Bowl, I think they beat anybody who comes out of the NFC. Just because I think the gap at quarterback would be too much for those NFC teams that would come out.
I don't hate it. I could see it.
Because you guys had Ravens, Eagles, which would be crazy. But I would probably lean Ravens in that matchup. And then Lions, KC, I feel like I lean KC.
I still lean KC. I don't think the game... I still lean KC till it's not KC, but I am worried about Mahomes' turnover issue. That's the only thing I think that would hurt them.
If they three-peat, there's nothing in my mind thinking that they can't win it again the following.
Four-peat?
No, because they're not. They shouldn't be. They lost all their big pieces. They were supposed to have lost their big pieces this year. They were not supposed to get McDuffie back. They weren't supposed to lose a lot of big defensive pieces this year, and they didn't. They came back, and now they have Xavier Worthy on a rookie deal. Pacheco, I think he's still in his rookie year.
He's not, and then you can bring him back for anything, really nothing crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
the only thing you could do is just bring in another more consistent option at receiver.
Yeah, he's still got one more year. You got Hollywood Brown still. You could bring back D-Hop probably for cheap if you're going to get him rings. Fuck it.
I just think because the favorite right now I want to say is Detroit, betting-wise.
Betting-wise, I think it is.
I just think until I see KC fall in the playoffs, I just think it's going to be them. I think the only team that can beat KC in the playoffs this year is Buffalo.
I got the Bills beating the Lions.
Okay.
I got the Eagles beating the Ravens.
I would like to see that for the Eagles. Wow. I would like to see that for them.
Mm-hmm. I think
because of everything. I think of everything that they've. Because you just can't do shit right in Philly. It seems like whatever you do in Philly is always going to get criticized, and anything you say is going to get criticized. Like it's just that would be good for like them. For sure. But, like, you put a ring on Josh Allen, like, man. Like, that would be interesting. And a ring on Lamar, like, it's a lot of narratives. But, like, when it's just Kansas City just getting another one, and all these narratives are going to just continue into next year.
Yeah. I'm sick of it.
When we're going into next year and it's like, who has more pressure when I turn on first take, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson to get it done? And I'm just like, wow, Patrick Mahomes really chilling. Like, Patrick Mahomes could be shit the rest of his career, and it wouldn't matter.
And nothing, yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it would be big for the Lions, but I just think...
I can just already see the Dan Campbell sad edit after they lose the Super Bowl. I love this team, man. I love this team.
They fought their ass off.
To get to the Super Bowl.
Would this be Mahomes' fourth ring? Or his third? Yeah. His fourth already?
Mm-hmm. He had one before they started, the 3.
That's what I thought.
So he had 1, and then they've won back-to-back, so he's at 3. He'd be at 4.
How old is he?
49ers the Eagles.
I mean, God, Mahomes might get... Jesus Christ. How many did Brady end with? 7?
7.
7 of them.
Okay, so maybe not. He could get 3 more.
He could easily get 3 more.
If he gets this one,
yeah,
like
he's at 4 at 29 years old.
Consider it over with if he wins this year.
Yeah, GOAT talk. GOAT for real.
3-peat in the NFL.
God.
Like
God. In your 4th Super Bowl, and He's only 29. It's 4 and 7 years, 4 and 8 years, something like that.
As long as he doesn't, knock on wood, sustain any big time injury, and they keep they eventually, you would think they lose Spags on the defensive side eventually, but as long as they have him and Andy Reid, I mean, I think you can find somebody that can not replace Travis Kelce and what he's done and meant for them, but this year the production, what you've gotten from him, you can find somebody that can fill that
Yeah.
void.
Noah Gray, nice, man. I don't
Yeah.
know. I fuck with Noah Gray.
So I think if they get this one, he could get there for sure, especially because he could play another
7 years.
7 of elite level football. And like we see Stafford up
More,
there in age
more.
playing, yeah, like he could play
More.
40 into his
He
40s.
could play
like
till he's
10.
40
10 more
in the
years?
elite.
10,
Yeah.
11 more years still?
So
Yeah.
you're saying
That ankle-
Patrick Mahomes,
that ankle
you give
gonna be
Patrick
hurt.
Mahomes 10, 11 more years.
God, that's dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Brady won at what, 45?
Yeah.
So imagine Patrick Mahomes in 16 years still playing football.
No, please. No.
So it could get wicked, but
Fuck.
those are our playoff predictions. Be posting them on Twitter as well when this episode drops. Wildcard weekend starts this weekend, officially playoff time.
Yep.
So it's going to be very interesting. We're going to definitely be back next Tuesday to recap
Mhm.
this wildcard weekend. And then we'll be back as well week by week for the divisional and the Super Bowl as well. But you guys want to wrap it up there?
Sir, yes, sir.
Thank you guys for tuning into the Barrel Talk podcast. Hope you tune in to future episodes.